All right, folks, welcome. It is Monday night. It is time for another live Q&A, as always. If you are new here, we do an hour of answering all of your drone questions. So any drone questions you have, you put them in the comments. And Jason is going to read them, filter them, and then put them in my chat, and then I'll be able to read them. That's how it works. So we have Ben, Bo, and Amy back there that are shuffling with the cameras. It looks good.
Heck yeah, it does.
Yeah, I have my little water glass right here.
Water break.
And yeah, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I just came back from driving 6 hours yesterday, and I am tired. No lava lamp. I was noticing that as well. It's over there, and it's not plugged. So, but yeah, it's going to be a busy week this week. We have a guest instructor. We have two guest instructors coming in. One of them will be here later this week. He's a trooper. We're excited to see him. And then we also have Sybil here, the instructor who is teaching the flight attendant course that we have been filming for a while now. She's back, and she's going to be here recording for 3 days, hopefully finishing this course, and then we will be able to edit it and then make it go live pretty soon. So yeah, look for that. That's a new offering that we're going to have, which is exciting. And the temperatures have dropped. I see people that were talking about temperatures. The temperatures have dropped a little bit here, so it's been really nice all day, and I think it's going to be nice all week. So yeah, I see some questions about the DJI store. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's see. Who do we have in the chat? We have Triad Drone Photography, our friend Minot from Engineer Drone Services. Sergio de la Garza is here. Alexander Blankenship, Drew's Day. We have Hike and Flag, Joshua Kamen, Curtis Warren, Just Johnny 2012, Thumb Drone, Daniel Bruhl, James Cox, Stinker 337, Rick Hone, JJ Burkhart, Dave DeVore, an OK Boomer, After His Media, formerly Film Photography, Retired Fire Chief, Old Deadeye, Mountain Man, Bob Dawaz. We have Lisa. We have TIE Fighter 4100. And Bob Rock, I said the other Bob, FTFO. I know FAFO, but I don't know FTFO Media. We have Donald. Donald is here. Donald Ali Prendy, not the other Donald. He's busy. Richard Hooker, I said that. Pierre Robert from Quebec, welcome. Bienvenue. We have TN Ryder. Who else? Philip D Studio. Vero is here from San Diego. Mountain Man, Surf Drone. Who else? Blue 95. Jameson Boven, our good old friend. We have Perro Aves. I hope I said that right. Blueprint 78. Bluegrass Astro. Dean Sando. George Clayson. Donald is here. No, that's the same Donald. James Andrews and Jason Williams. Holy crap, a lot of folks already. So welcome. I'm going to get to the questions, and then we'll go from here. So if you have anything, just put them down in the comments, and like I said, we will get to them. All right. Triad Drone Photography says, hello, how difficult is it to get lens approval in a zero grid near a DoD airport? Interesting. I'm wanting to get some footage of lakefront 2 miles away. 2 miles away should not... 2 miles away. I'm surprised 2 miles away is still in a zero grid. Probably is. It depends. It depends on how close you are to the approach end of the runway and what altitude you're going to request. I probably recommend no more than 100, maybe no more than 50 feet. So it's worth a try. Make sure you let them know, what you plan on doing, how you plan on being safe, maybe having a radio to listen to the tower, and then being able to be on, contacted by phone in case in case they need to get a hold of you and all these things. So next, and then also I would say study the traffic pattern to find out which way the traffic pattern actually is, in which direction, which way airplanes are going to land, left turn, right turn, all that good stuff that we teach you in the course. Drew's Day says, what are the required documents to have when operating under Part 107? Is proof of remote ID and MOC and DOC still required? Not really required. The drone in itself should be enough. You should have a sticker on your drone that says that it is remote ID compliant. That's technically a requirement by the manufacturer, but we do put, if you get stickers from us, registration stickers, we do put remote ID compliant stickers in there as well. But yeah, no, technically you're flying under Part 107, you need to have your Part 107 proof of currency, and then you need to have an ID to prove who you are, because your pilot license does not have an ID or a picture on it. All right, Daniel says, what does Daniel say? I have a Nevada 2. My question is, will I need to rebind a controller every time I switch between the motion controller and the FPV RC3? In theory, you should not. So it should be pretty smooth to switch between the two, at least from our experience. Surf Drone says, why do I have a Bluetooth connection to my controller that I can download photos and videos? But when I try to unlock a restricted area, I get a no network connection message. Okay, let me read that again. Why do I have a Bluetooth connection to my controller that I can download photos and videos? Okay. But when I try to unlock a restricted area, I get no network. Okay, two different things here. Network, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi are two different things. So because you connect it to your device with Bluetooth doesn't mean that your cell phone is sending Wi-Fi signal or network signal to your controller. So you would need to have the ability to do a hotspot from your phone. Some how am I going to say that? Some providers, cell phone providers, have that as an option that you have to pay for if you want to do that kind of stuff. So you may not have the option, but you would need to do a hotspot. So see if your drone is capable of doing a hotspot, in which case it becomes a Wi-Fi network. Your phone becomes the Wi-Fi router if you want, and then you would connect to it with your controller to your phone, basically. Okay, Thumb Drone says, any idea how long authorizations are taking currently, specifically for Mini 4 Pro ops over people with equipage? That would be a waiver, I'm guessing you are asking. So I don't know how long the waivers are taking right now, but from what I was told last time I talked to our FAA contact, they were pretty quick at approving those. As long as you meet all the requirements, you should be good. Blue 95 says, why is the DJI store not selling drones? That is a good question. We just had a discussion internally today about this. It's a bit concerning, obviously. If you go to the DJI store right now, you will see that pretty much every single drone is sold out. And we have an inkling as to what it might be, but nothing verified at the moment. But they're just having issues with shipping drones to the United States from China because they're being stopped by CBP, illegally stopped by CBP at the moment. And so they can't get them in the hands of people, so they're not selling them because they're just end up being returned to DJI. So that's my interpretation, at least. I have not had any discussions with DJI about it, but yeah, that's where we're at. So, and then also, I just saw an article from Haya from Drone Excel today on that topic. He mentions also that Adorama and B&H, and I can't remember the other stores he had on that link. James, James, who's in the chat right now, sent me that link. And even these stores don't have any stock. So it is concerning for sure. It means that if you have a DJI drone at the moment, then you are probably sitting on something that's going to increase in value. Unfortunately, that's kind of how the gray market is going to become, right? People are going to be buying these drones on the gray market, and they're going to be harder and harder to find. It's like TP during COVID. Make sure you stock up. Heck yeah. Were you one of the stalker, Ben? Stalker of TP? Better not be.
I didn't stock up to take away from anybody else. I stocked up for myself.
Oh, I see. You see Ben walking around with a cart full of TP. All right. Donald says, just to confirm, if a FRIA has a ceiling of 700 feet, no authorization is required up to that height, AGL. Correct. You would have to be following, I'm guessing you're flying at an AMA site, you would have to follow their requirements to be able to access the FRIA. That's the only thing. So, but yeah, I've heard that some of them have that the ability now to fly at higher AGL, which would be 700 feet or 1,200 feet in some cases. Although I haven't seen one at 1,200 feet yet. Thumb Drone says, second question, can you explain adding a certified parachute, think AVSS, to a drone, and what, if any, waiver are required at that point? Okay, so if you add, when you say certified, I'm guessing you're talking about the parachutes from AVSS, for example, that have DOC, Declaration of Compliance approval on the FAA website. If that's the case, if you have the platform, the Matrice 4E, and the AVSS parachute on top, then you would be compliant for that approval that was received on the DOC list, which means that if it's a Category 2 compliance, then you would basically have a Category 2 drone by basically having the parachute installed on top. I'm sure it comes with some documentation, so make sure that you follow all these steps. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say it because I don't think I'm supposed to. But yeah, you would be, sorry, my mouth went quicker than my brain. Yeah. But yes, that would be a Category 2 or Category 3, depending on the DOC approval. But that's the beauty of these parachutes, is that AVSS, for example, have received approval from the FAA for certain types of drones that, as long as the drone is equipped with the AVSS parachute, then it qualifies to fly over people as a categorized drone. So that's a way around the waiver process that the FAA has right now. This is typically for larger enterprise drone, like the Matrice 4 Enterprise, for example. I think they have it for the Mavic 3 as well, and they have it for larger drones. But yeah, that's the idea. Next, what if you have a Part 107 and want to fly your drone within visual line of sight over a train station or shopping mall? There is no reason why you couldn't. Just remember, you have to follow Part 107 rules. So that includes not flying over people in moving vehicles, not flying, getting airspace approval, not flying over 400 feet, blah, blah, blah. You know the trick. But yes, if you're within visual line of sight, over a train station, as long as the trains are not moving, and if they are moving, as long as you're not flying over people in moving vehicles, a train is a moving vehicle, then you would be fine. If I'm flying over a football practice, is that considered open air assembly? If you're flying over, open air assembly is a very vague term, but if you have a football practice, personally, I do think that it would be considered open air assembly. There's enough people there. It's about the density of population, although the FAA doesn't give a number, but they give examples, and to me, this would be one of them. It doesn't really matter, by the way, open air assembly or not. You would have to have a categorized drone in order to fly over one of these. And yeah, that's it. Otherwise, you cannot fly over people at the practice. You could fly around but not over people, unless you have a categorized drone or a waiver. Phew.
Right.
Yes, Ben.
What if the stadium was closed?
What if the stadium is closed? Enclosed with a roof? If the stadium is enclosed with a roof, then you would be flying indoors, in which case the FAA does not have jurisdiction. So the FAA only has jurisdiction in open air space. But yeah, if there is a roof on top, you good. You good. The only thing is your insurance company will want to know that you're flying over people indoors. That's it. Okay, next. Excuse me. Oh, a little drink. All right. Is this working well on the green screen? Is it keying pretty well, Ben?
You can't even tell that you're on a green screen.
Can't even tell you're on the green screen. That's crazy. All right. It's not a green screen.
Our SFX team is so good.
Our special effects team is pretty darn good. Yes, I agree. Okay, next. Julian says, I have a Mavic 4 Pro or something, Mini 4 Pro. I never know. When you guys write M4 Pro, it could be a Mavic 4 or Mini 4. So you have one of those. And I want to use remote ID with the heavy battery, so I'm guessing Mini 4 Pro. But then it runs out and I switch to the lighter battery. In that case, would I no longer be compliant with remote ID by changing the battery? Yeah, okay. So, correct. If you put the small battery on, I'm guessing you're flying under Part 107. If you have the big battery, you're broadcasting remote ID, you're compliant, you put the small battery on, you need to have a module on top of the drone to now be compliant with remote ID and Part 107. Yep, I know it's messed up. That's how it is. Ralph says, if I have permission and everyone there gives permission, would I still need OOP waiver? Yes. Permission from participant does not waive federal regulation. So it's like saying you go on the highway and everybody agrees for you to drive at 120 miles an hour. Can you drive at 120 miles an hour? It's still not legal. Even though people give you permission. But yeah, you cannot get permission from people to fly over them. Wakapoli says, if Custom is illegally holding and returning DJI drones, can I sue them for not allowing my already paid for drone through Care Refresh to enter the country? I mean, you can sue anyone, anytime. You're just suing the federal government, which means it's going to be very expensive. So I personally think it needs to be a class action lawsuit. I would love to have a class action lawsuit against the people who actually told Custom Border Patrol to do this. We have an idea of who she is. I think she should be personally named in a class action lawsuit so that she has to hire people to defend herself. But yeah, that's just me. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, right? Avgeek Joe says, second question, if I'm flying over a moving vehicle, like a light rail train, then what should I do? Nah, I could agree to avoid this, but thanks in advance. So if you're flying over, you can't fly over a moving vehicle unless you have a categorized drone or unless you have a waiver from the FAA. So that would be the only way to do it. If it's a train, it's a cargo train. I think we talked about this last week. Because we talked about all the language of the stuff. But if it's a cargo train and you're flying over the car where the conductor is, then you can't do that because there's people in moving vehicle. If it's a cargo train, you can fly over the cargo cars because they don't have people in them. So it's just a moving vehicle, but with no people in it. So the other thing, we're going to hide this. It's a secret. If it's a passenger train, then you would need to have a categorized drone or a waiver from the FAA in order to do this. I hope that makes sense. Cosmo family. Cosmo Kramer? It's a Seinfeld joke. Are drones good for first responders and firefighters? Yes, absolutely. A ton of public safety agencies are using drones, especially thermal drones for firefighters, being able to find out, what's going on with the fire and where it is and where the heat source is and all these things. So, yeah, I agree with Sparky. I'm waiting for the waiter to refill my glass, but
Does it say waiter or server?
He says waiter.
Waiter? Okay.
It's coming from Sparky.
I can't.
Look at that. Look at that. What a service. I'll give a 5-star.
I'd rather a tip.
No, 5-star. Sparky says he likes a nice caboose. Is that in relationship to Ben? Sparky, are you getting me that water? We have a really nice water dispenser with like 5 different filters, super cold water. I think it's like 46 degree cold temperature Fahrenheit. It's really, really nice. And then we have one in the studio here that's not nearly as nice, but that's the old one.
That the studio water for production is not as good?
It's not as good as the one in the kitchen. The one in the kitchen is the crispiest water I've ever drank. It's like drinking it from the mountain. It's like coming straight out of the mountain in France. Like the Evian coming straight from the...
If you
even
tip
better.
your production team member 20%, maybe they would run and get you crisp water.
This is pretty crisp also, actually. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, somebody says no tip, he might spit. Yeah. Is there a loogie in there? No, it looks pretty good. All right. All right. What's next? I Can Fly says, ooh, hold on. Got a sneeze coming up. Maybe. Nope.
Sorry, I didn't bring you a napkin. You want me to run a napkin too?
A napkin? How about a little tissue? When you renew your drone registration, do you get a new number or is it the same number? It's the same number. It's just the expiration date is going to be different. But yeah, same number. Cloud Camper says, I bought the 04 DJI unit. Okay. What would be the fastest drone I could put in it? I could put it in. I know the rules as far as speed. Also, I will have to register this drone. As a kit, will it come with an ID number? I mean, I think the 04 unit is going to have a serial number, but I don't know that you would want to use that for the drone necessarily. I mean, you could. A homemade kit, the serial number could be skipped. You can say this drone does not have a serial number because it's homemade. So, yeah. As far as remote ID, you would have to be compliant with that. I don't think the 04 DJI unit is remote ID compliant, so you would have to add a module on top of the drone to do that. But yeah. And then what was the other question? What would be the fastest drone I could put that in? I mean, any drone, as long as if you're flying under Part 107, the limit is 100 miles per hour. So no more than 100 miles per hour. Next. Where are we at? Dean says, will you have a booth at EA AirVenture this year? Yes, we will. We will be in the same spot as we were last year. And I don't remember what the number is, but I'm sure Jason can find it and put it in there. But yeah, we'll be right by the first hangar that's on the right side. So what I think it's hangar B, maybe. We'll be right next to that, pretty close to that hangar. You can't miss it. It's like the biggest pink tent in the world. You can see it from a distance typically. Come say hi. We'll be out there all week starting on Monday. And that's towards the end of July. It's in about a month, actually, a month from now. We'll be out there having fun. Hopefully the storms are slow. I've been looking at the weather over there. It's a little too early to look, but man, there's like storms every day. But I guess that's what you get in the summer in Ohio. Wait, what did I say? Wisconsin. Different place. November 9, Victor Papa Victor Kevin says, looks like vodka. You will never know. Did you get it from that vodka bottle over there, or? Man, if I can drink like that big of a gulp without a wind space, we have issues. I have issues. Booth 210. Thank you, Jason. 210. All right. Have you heard any reports of on additional fees at customs if they ordered a Mavic 4 something? Mavic 4 Pro, from South Korea or Canada. What's the fee? And if they are similar or different, trying to avoid $2,000 surprise. You know, this is kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. You think you know what the tariff is on one side, and then boop, seconds later, it is a different tariff. Although I think the current administration has slowed down a little bit on the tariff shenanigans. So last I checked, it was 35% on Chinese.
If somebody bought it directly from Canada, would the tariff still come into play?
Well, I don't know what the tariff is on Canada goods right now. So it would be imported from Canada. So it would be. So I don't know. I don't know what the Canadian tariff at the moment is, but that would be. I doubt if you're getting it from Canada, or I don't know what South Korea tariff is either, but yeah, I would do some research on that to find out. I doubt it would be a $2,000 surprise. We did have a 100% tariff on something that we bought right when the tariff shenanigans were going on. We had bought a film for our front window. It's a cool electronic film that you push a button and it kind of frosts the windows. And that we bought months and months ago, and it took them a while to ship it. And of course, they shipped it right when the tariff started. So it doubled in price. I think it was $1,600, and I had to pay another $1,600 worth of tariff. So talk about a bad surprise. What are the news about Part 108? No news at the moment. We are waiting for an NPRM. It was, I think, mandated in the executive order to be done within 30 days as of, 2 weeks ago-ish. So who knows if we're going to have it by July something, but I wouldn't put money on that. We'll see. I live in New York City, and it's essentially a no-fly city, correct, because of the New York Police Department permit requirement, which is really difficult given the requirements. Do you think there can be a class action lawsuit? I doubt it, because there is a pathway to make it happen. I think you would only be able to do a class action lawsuit if you requested something and you followed all the requirements and they didn't give it to you. But right now, there are requirements and they were approved. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but I would talk to somebody who, I would talk to a lawyer. Bob Casey says, just got here. I don't know if this has been discussed, but what's the new word on Part 108? I just answered that. Are Part 107 going to fly VLOS? We don't know. We don't know the answer yet, Bob. It's all up in the air until we see the NPRM. So until then, it's all speculation, and I don't really want to speculate on that. I mean, I have ideas of what I think is going to happen, but not something based on. It's just based on my educated guess. Let's put it this way. Willow says, not a drone question, but I am currently doing flight training and my CFI is looking for a good syllabus to follow. Does Pilot Institute make one? And do you have any suggestion? We are in the process of finishing our flight syllabus right now, Willow. So the answer is no at the moment, but hopefully available very soon. So as far as suggestions, I don't really have one. The reason we're making one is because I'm not a super big fan of anything that's out there. But yeah. Does DJI have a drone with a Wi-Fi router built in? I find unlocking restricted area remotely through LAANC is a major pain. I mean, I don't know how that would work because you would have to have some sort of you would need to have a chip, a Wi-Fi chip in it or a SIM card, I should say, that would get internet to the drone. But no, there shouldn't be. And going back, I'm sorry, I'm keep reading here. I find unlocking restricted areas remotely through LAANC is a major pain. That would not change any of that. LAANC still needs to be done. It doesn't have really anything to do with Yep. Sorry. We have a comment from the live audience. What's the cool blue thing that you've got there? Oh yeah, that's warming up my legs right now. I have a question for Sparky. When are you going to come visit the new studio and record again? That is a question for you, Sparky. In the meantime, I will do my best Vanna White here to present this beauty. But why are we presenting this? It's not even for sale yet.
It's upside down. Come on, Vanna. There you go. One more. One more.
Like this?
Again.
Like this?
Okay, there you go.
Okay, there it is.
It's gonna be for sale soon, right?
It is going to be for sale soon. We have a video coming up where we're going to showcase this thing, and it will be available for sale then. So we are working on the checkout page right now. But yeah, it's cool. It's made of pleather. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's a cool fabric.
It's sealskin, isn't it?
Sealskin, real sealskin, yeah. Faux sealskin. It has nice little grommets in the corner. It folds neatly to 8.5 by 13, I think. It's a legal size paper. And then, two beautiful colors, pink and blue, as you would expect, and very durable. We've been testing it for a while, and it's going to be coming to a shop near you pretty soon, online, mostly.
And possibly, if you're someone like Sparky and you actually come out and visit our studio, you can get one.
And if you come and visit, yeah, you might get one. I think we have one that's going to be given to someone in the premium community very soon. So I know we dedicated one for that. Okay. We only have 500 of them. So if you buy if you see it pop, if you want one, I would not wait to buy it because they will go out. And with the tariffs, who knows when we're going to get more, and because we're not playing Russian roulette right now with the tariffs, so we're not ordering any more supplies until this shenanigans stop.
You can mention that contest in community. It's through the end of this week for orbit shots.
In a premium community?
I think it's regular community.
In a regular community? Oh, for the orbit shot. Oh, that's where we're going to give one away. Yeah, for the orbit shot. We have a contest in the regular community, the free community, where you can practice orbits and post your best orbit, and then we will give one away to people. One of those landing pads. Okay. Pew, pew, pew. What's next? Drew's Day says, has your company been audited by the FAA? If so, what's involved with the audit? Pilot Institute has not, but I have gone through plenty of audits in my flight school days, typically checking records because we were Part 141 approved. So it's usually 2 vans full of FAA employees that show up in the parking lot like an ice raid, and then they come in and they just ask for a bunch of stuff because they know who's through the program, and you basically give them records and they go through them. They go to the maintenance department, they look at aircraft records, and they kind of go through all the stuff, making sure it makes sense. And then they go on the ramp and they do ramp checks, make sure that people have their IDs and make sure people have their pilot license and their medical certificate and all that good stuff. So we've always aced them. There's always a couple things that they find, but we've always aced them because we were always doing our job. But no, Pilot Institute has never been audited, but I don't know that there would be a reason for us to be audited necessarily because we don't really do... I mean, we have been audited for, what is it called? Trust, just because that's part of the process. But yeah, no, that's it.
Is there really 2 vans of people?
Yeah, they've literally come with government vans and then they open the doors and like they... No, they come out of these vans like clowns out of a clown car. It's like there's like, I'm not insulting the FAA. I'm just saying that it feels like there's like 20 people coming out of the vans, and then yeah, they all wear their badges, and then they just they say, "Hi, we're from the FAA and we're here to help you," and then they go on. No, they're usually very friendly, and again, these are things that we always expected, that we were always ready for, so it was never a bad experience. Are there any regulations, restrictions against flying a tethered drone vertically with a simple twisted pair of power wires? Ooh, interesting. Okay. No. There's not really a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of regulation on tethered drones. So I would just be careful with the way that you do it. But let's put it this way. Contrary to popular belief, which was a lot of misinformation spread by one company that was doing tethered systems and tethered drones, flying a tethered drone doesn't really give you a waiver of any sorts for any sort of regulation. It still is a drone flying in the airspace. The fact that it has a tether is not a plus as far as the FAA is concerned. Okay. So if you wanted to apply for a waiver and say, oh, look, we're going to have a tether, it's going to be safe, then yeah, maybe. But in this case, yeah, no. Are there, okay, I just did that one. Next, George says, can someone fly over a national park if they operate outside of the national park? The short answer is yes, possibly, but one, I wouldn't do it because there's restrictions in place for a reason. 2, you could still be in trouble for harassing wildlife. You know, typically national parks are put in place for a variety of reasons, but sometimes to protect some species of birds or wildlife. And if you're found to disrupt the peace, then you could get in trouble. And then keep in mind you have to maintain visual line of sight. So, yeah, I just wouldn't do it. I don't recommend people doing it. Even it's not because you can that you should. That's what I always say about this. And then also keep in mind that some national parks have airspace restriction, like the Grand Canyon, for example. So you could be flying from outside and then get into the actual airspace, and then you would have an airspace restriction that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you would still be Yep. Well, AC kicking.
Okay.
So California says, California. He says, hey, Greg, or she says, I live near the port of Los Angeles, okay, where they restrict drones from taking off and landing on port property. Can I launch off-site and fly over this critical infrastructure? If it's a critical infrastructure, I would definitely not do it, especially the port. And then if you're flying from, I mean, you could be flying from outside, but if there is a critical infrastructure in place and there is a California law that says you cannot fly within a certain distance, I would be very careful with that. And then also I would be careful with federal restrictions on critical infrastructure. So I would look at the UAS facility map and see if it is an actual critical infrastructure as far as the FAA is concerned, in which case I would definitely not fly there. I would not recommend it. Let's put it this way. Yeah. Okay, wow. We actually reached the questions. That was a lot of questions. If you have more questions, put them in the comment. We're about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway. I saw another question earlier. No, that was somebody different. Did Sparky ever say if he was going to come? Let me see. I tried to... He says, when Greg flies to pick me up and bring me my new landing pad.
Perfect.
We'll send him a Trees 300 remotely to pick him up. I'm not going to Texas in the middle of summer. I know better. It's hot. Okay, who else? What else? Leave your comments in there. What else do we have going this week? Like I said, we have we have Ken coming on Thursday. We're going to be doing a cool recording for Premium Community with Ken, our friend, or Ken Original Dobo, and then
Shooting real estate.
Yeah.
For social media.
Shooting real estate specifically and social media stuff. So, you know, if you follow his work, you know how good he is at doing these kind of videos. So he's going to come here and give a tutorial for people in the premium community. And then some other projects that I can't talk about just yet. But yeah, it's going to be a fun week. And then, like I said, we're recording the flight attendant stuff. We recorded another chapter of the private pilot redo last week. We've got a couple cool projects that are in the pipeline that I can't talk about just yet, but we're also redoing the Part 107 course. Jason has been busy working on that to help me record. But yeah.
We've got some accessories video coming out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
That landing page for the
Yeah, drone accessory video coming out where we kind of talk about a variety of drone accessories, not a specific brand necessarily, but just drone accessories in general. So that should be a fun video. And yeah, okay. Whoa, tons of questions coming up as I was talking. That's always how it works. Follow up, how can I determine if what part of the Port of LA are considered critical infrastructure? I would look at California statute and see what they define as a critical infrastructure. And then I would look at the UAS facility map as far as the FAA is concerned to make sure that that doesn't fall under that. Drone Eagle says, do you know why the Grand Canyon is restricted airspace? I know that some conspiracy theories out there. There's not, I mean, it's restricted airspace, but there is a way to overfly the Grand Canyon. I've flown over the Grand Canyon at 10,000 feet. Which is fairly low when you know that the top of the Grand Canyon is at a certain altitude. It's just because they don't want people going to fly inside the canyon because it's pretty dangerous. And there's corridors that you can fly into legally. There is a whole section that is not as well, where tour operators can operate with helicopters, but it's just because it's a place that we want to protect. We don't want to see down aircraft into the canyon. It's very difficult to send search and rescue down in the canyon. It's just and it's a place where people go to kind of relax. If you've never been to the Grand Canyon, it's a sight to see. It's breathtaking, actually. I think it's hard to even put words as to how big the Grand Canyon is. It's grand for a reason. Huh?
What are the conspiracy
The conspiracy theories, I think, doors inside of the canyon somewhere from old. You've never heard of those? Yeah, there's conspiracies that there used to be pyramids inside the canyon and like secret doors inside the canyon and things like that. No, just doors. Yeah. I mean, that's at least the ones that I've kind of heard and seen pop. But no, there's none of that. Like I said, you can technically fly over the Grand Canyon if you fly inside the corridors, not drones, airplanes. But yeah, I did that in September when my parents came to visit. I took them on a flight and we flew. The weather was kind of getting really interesting, and we flew with clouds legally on top of us, and it was about the limit. And I'm glad we were able to do it. And then we went the other way to leave. But yeah, it's cool. It's 250 miles long, I think, from the lake all the way, shit, what's the lake over there? Anyway, from that lake on the east side. Huh?
Lake Erie.
No. From that lake on the east side. Oh, man. And then all the way to Vegas. It's like 250 miles long. It's really impressive. Okay. What else? What about a printable certificate for everyone who passes their test? It would be such a motivating reminder of their achievement and a proud memento to hang on the wall. So I had this discussion with my team recently. The reason we don't provide a completion certificate for the Part 107 course is because I want to make sure that people understand that this is not a Part 107 certificate, okay? I don't want people to finish. It happened early on when we started the course where people would print the certificate thinking that they were done, even though there is plenty of instructions in the course that they need to go take the test. But I don't want somebody showing to the FAA and say, oh, look, I finished. I got my Part 107 right here because I got this completion certificate. So that's why we don't provide it as an official document. But we do have the ability to issue one manually, which is not something we advertise, but yes. Underground Egyptian temples, Ark of the Covenant.
Ark of the Covenant? I didn't know it was the Indiana Jones thing.
Maybe we should go explore. I've been down in Grand Canyon. It's cool. Eagle Lens says, if one gets the Part 107 as a permanent resident or becomes naturalized, is there a process to follow with the FAA? Nope. Eventually, there's technically a way to change your nationality in the system. I have to admit, I never changed mine, although I've been a citizen for a long time now, because you have to go to the FSDO, I think, to do it. And it doesn't really, I don't want my licenses to be reprinted. But yeah, nationality is on your certificate. What's the maximum temperature you feel comfortable letting your battery get during flying or on the ground? During flying, I don't remember what the temperature is, like around 50 degrees. But on the ground, like let's say air temperature, over 100, it's going to be a bit of a push. I know a lot of people do it flying with higher temperatures, but you just got to keep in mind that these things are fire hazards when they get hot. So, oh man, what did I say? And the comments are all about the Grand Canyon conspiracies now. Will you be in Vegas in September? Yes. There is actually some cool stuff coming out, and you can already see some of the schedule. So the big announcement with the commercial UAV Expo, which happens in Vegas September 4th through around September 4th, I think. It's the first week of September. We are going to be providing a really cool thing. We have our own pilot hub sponsored and powered by Pilot Institute at the event. We're going to be providing special content there in person with other instructors as well from our team, and special presentations. And then we're also going to be providing a in-person course that continues on the drone mapping course. that we have online, and then the business course, the drone business course as well. So if you buy this, you can do a quick upgrade. I think it's $50 more. You can do a quick upgrade to the course, come up in Vegas, and then we'll have a session there in person to do in-person component of that course, which is really cool. We have on Tuesday, we have a big session for like 2.5 hours with a bunch of presenters. Again, this is all Pilot Institute sponsored. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we will have presentations as well on the show floor that you can attend that are going to be basically teaching pilots about business mapping. There's a whole lot of different topics. So that's really exciting. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We approached Commercial UAV Expo about this. They were excited as well. So we've been working on this project for a while. And then now it's official. It's on their website. So we'll have a full announcement coming out very soon. I think we have 2 more presentations that we're trying to tweak and finish the description of. But yeah, all that stuff is going to be really exciting. So we'll be very busy on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be out there providing content and having a booth on the show floor as well. So you'll see a lot of Pilot Institute branding when you go to Commercial UAV Expo. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Do you think the Mavic 4 Pro will make it to the United States soon? You know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but my gut feeling is that we will not see the Mavic 4 Pro in the United States. I don't have any data from DJI. I don't want to spread rumors, but that's just my gut feeling that I don't think we'll see it in the United States. So if I'm flying my Mini 4 Pro and I lose visual line of sight and can't orient the drone, what do you recommend? Hit the RTH button, return to home, and then get it closer. You can also, if you were going forward, just go backwards. Instead of pushing the right stick forward, just push it backwards and then see if you can find it, you know, in your visual line of sight. But the RTH button, return to home, is the best way to do it. Ben? Yeah, yeah. You can also turn around. Yeah, you can also try to turn around 180 degrees or do like kind of a pan using the left stick to the left or to the right, and then see if you can find on the screen that virtual home point. It will show it to you in augmented reality. Ben talks from experience. Okay, what else? Cosmos Family says, what's a good way to keep up with all the rules and regulation drone flying for delivery and security? I mean, the rules are the same, right? This is all going to be Part 107 rules. So the best way is really, quite frankly, to follow us. We stay on top of these rules. We create a lot of content. And we do it for free on the YouTube channel. So just, quite frankly, I hate to say this, but just subscribe to the channel. If there's any changes in regulation, we will cover it, 100% guaranteed. Probably the first ones to cover it. And you can stay up to date. And then if you're in the course, if you're in the Part 107 course, we keep the course up to date all the time. We make changes and we post new videos if we have to. But yeah, everything is there. That's your best way to do it. Retired Fire Chief says, I have a job in Zero Grid for about 2 hours. I have to get prior approval through the FAA drone zone. Yes, I would definitely recommend doing that. Absolutely. You can technically do it from a loft air control, but yes. Sandy says, tried head tracking mode with the Neo, seems very disconcerting. How and when is head tracking useful? Is there a recommended technique to use it? I kind of have to agree with this. I don't know that the head tracking is all that great. The only time I would use it is if I were a public safety agency. I'm a police officer, for example. I'm trying to get inside of a building to find out if there's a suspect inside the building. Then I would go in and then I would turn my head and then kind of see left and right and up and down and kind of look around like you would, you know, with goggles. But otherwise, for the average person, maybe there's another use case scenario, but yeah. I see Jonathan Jackson join us. Welcome, welcome. What's changing in the Part 107 course? I just started. If you are in 107 course, anytime there's a change, it gets updated automatically. So as soon as we push that new video, it gets posted. At the moment, there's no changes in part 107. We're just redoing the videos to follow the new format that we have for the private pilot course. So we're going to be doing chapter by chapter. So when they get updated, you'll get notifications. We are working on the, we're working on all the chapters right now. How many FA part numbers are there? Part numbers. Oh, how many are connected to UAS? There's a lot of FA part numbers. As far as connected to drones, we have part 48 for registration, part 107, part 137 if you're carrying chemicals with an aircraft. There's part 89, which is remote ID regulation. There's part 1, which is definitions, that has stuff for drones in it a little bit. And then, part 71 and part 73 are airspace, so technically related to drones, although, yeah, not entirely. Hopefully, maybe part 108 or part 109 in the future, but that's it. That's really all the ones that you should worry about. Will Pilot Institute have more mapping, modeling, and surveying classes? Yes, there is an upcoming announcement on that we have been working on, so stay posted. Sorry to beat a dead horse, but can I cross a road with occupied cars and pedestrian briefly on my way to my target area? You cannot do that unless you have a categorized drone or a waiver to fly over people. Transiting over people or moving vehicles still requires the same as flying over a person. Okay, even briefly. Practicing photography says temperature is predicted to be 94 with a heat index of around 100. Is it safe to fly? Yeah, I think you're probably okay to fly in this case. Curry B says, what's the singer with a B in it? Cardi B. That must be her cousin, Curry B. Thoughts on the original Mavic Air, circa 2018, a good drone to start with. If you get one for really, really cheap, it's a great place to start, but it's definitely getting older now as far as technology. So the camera is not going to look all that great. And just 20, it's, what is that, 7 years old now? 7 years old, that's crazy. Yep, 7 years old. First Medic says, if you will be in Las Vegas in September, then you will miss the Mountain West UAS. Yes, unfortunately, I will. Same timing, but that's, a big event that we go to every year. I think we are going to send, Jillian, who's not here today, but Jillian, I think, is going to join the Mountain West roundup this year because she's in Colorado, but I don't think I'll be able to squeeze the trip with the travel to Vegas. Sandy Perez says, if you have a private or commercial FAA license, why don't they add UAS pilots to your license as a rating? Because it's not the same thing. So, two different certificates, unmanned certificate and manned certificate. Also, when you get your private and your commercial, you don't get trained on everything that drone pilots get trained on. So you don't get trained on part 107, you don't get trained on airspace. There is a lot of similarities, but there are also quite a few differences. So, but as far as why not adding as a rating, because one is a pilot certificate, the other one is a remote pilot certificate. So the FAA looks at these as two different things. Just like a flight instructor certificate, for example, does not get added to your pilot certificate because it's not a pilot certificate, it's an instructor certificate. I know it sounds complicated, but and same for mechanic, right? If you're a mechanic, you get a mechanic certificate, but you don't get it added if you're a pilot as well. So the FAA looks at all these things as kind of different certificates that are different cards. If you don't believe the Mavic 4 Pro won't ever be available in the United States, how about the other new drones from DJI? I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. Right now, there is a lot of push to prevent DJI from selling their drones in the United States. Some, I believe, are illegal, and they're still in place. Huh? Some of the pushes are illegal. Yes. Yep. Yep. Mini 5. I mean, again, if you go on the DJI website right now, the Mini 4 is not available for sale. So I don't know how we're gonna see the Mini 5. Yeah. Sorry, I'm being pessimistic, which I'm usually not, but man, it's yeah, it's I mean I'm hopeful as well, don't get me wrong, but man. EE Photography says, what are N numbers and how do you get them? Do they need to be on the drone? I don't really understand what they are. N numbers are typically reserved for manned aircraft. I would not get an N number. The FAA has a different process to register unmanned aircraft. So you should register with the FAA drone zone, and then you're going to get an FA3 number instead of an N number. It's going to start with FA3 and then go from there. Covered Drone in Florida has a Mavic 4 Pro Creator Edition in stock for $53.99. Wow. Yeah, that's a bit of a premium, but that's kind of expected also, unfortunately. Although I don't know. How much is the Pro Creator? That may actually not be a premium, but I don't. Now that you've said that, it's probably not available anymore. Will the American drone prices go down? That's a great question. So, what makes pricing of equipment be set at a certain price? Typically, it's based on volume. The more volume they have, the more the cheaper you can make it. The reason DJI is cheap compared to American drones is because they produce millions of drones compared to American manufacturers that typically have a much lower volume. And as a result, DJI is able to, sell them for cheaper. And it's like if you're the person making a couple of things in your garage and you sell them and they're handmade, then they're going to be a lot more expensive than somebody who's mass producing these in a factory somewhere. So will the price of American drones go down? I don't know, but at the moment, there is no American drone that you can use to replace your Air, your Mavic, your Mini series. Those are just not available, plain and simple. Not even in cheaper quality, they're just not available out there. And so, for consumer, and a lot of people that watch us are consumer users. So I don't know. I don't know what people are going to be flying going forward. If you can't buy them from the DJI website, if CBP is essentially illegally blocking these drones from entering the country, what are recreational pilots going to be using? And I mean, I've asked that question to the bright brains at AUVSI, for example, when they pushed their BS bans for DJI drones. And they just don't want to answer because they don't have an answer because they're brainwashed, and they just don't have the ability to provide you with an answer as to what people are going to fly. So yeah, sorry, I got on a rant. So California says, the ocean bluff here are about 100 foot above the water. I fly my drone there often, but see helicopters and single engine aircraft flying just off the shore at bluff top level. Is that legal? Helicopters can definitely do that. Single engine aircraft can do that as long as there's no people nearby and no structures. So, but yeah, it would be.
Is it legal for them to fly their drone there? And what do they need to do?
It could be legal for you to fly your drone there. You just got to be avoiding manned aircraft traffic. You have to give way to manned aircraft traffic. So, yeah. What about DJI Care? If you crash, are they going to send you a new replacement? Yes, because I think all those are coming from inside the United States, last I was told, and they're able to send replacement drones for that, at least at the moment. What drone would you suggest to use on construction, survey, and roofing sites? I'm guessing you're doing inspections, in which case a DJI drone, but, again, kind of goes back to, it's hard at this stage. I would find a used Mavic 3 Enterprise or a Matrice 4 Enterprise to do this. That's probably the best drone for the job. But you could really use, as long as you don't need thermal, you can use any drone that has a camera on it and that has decent quality. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Okay. Pew. What else? I see that, yep, James is answering question. Thank you for that, James, helping Jason. If you see information from James, you can take it as true. He is very well educated on all of these things. And, yep. Yeah, James said DJI is not holding drones from the US because of tariff. DJI doesn't pay the tariff. The importer pays the tariff, or the person receiving the drone, like you, will pay the tariff. A misconception, unfortunately, out there. Yeah, and then you're right. A lot of replacement drones are coming from Canada, but it looks like they're not getting blocked from... Oh, many of those are getting blocked now. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, well, on this positive note, thank you for watching. It is 5 o'clock here. And I'm going to finish my vodka here, and then we will see you we'll see you on Friday for a news update. We'll see you next Monday for another live Q&A. And in the meantime, don't be that guy, fly safe, and I will see you next time.